Yo, 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 what's going on? It's Terrell, Hall of Fame, D-Live, TBKC, and all that sweet, wonderful, beautiful shit. Okay, my brother Norreal asked a question on the video, and I do want to address it because some of y'all really got, he stroked some of y'all's minds there to ask about it. The story of Kurupt, and I think I went over Kurupt, but I'm going to tell you about Kurupt. You know, my first run-in with Kurupt was at that first really big show that we threw in Virginia. 2 Up, 2 Down, Back to the Bullies, all that, whatever all the names was on that show. But at that time when Kurupt came in, you know, and now y'all keep in mind, things have totally changed now. You know, you think of like, you know, y'all think of like cars, you know. 20 years ago, you know, push button start on the car was just like, that was for Mercedes. Nowadays, everyone has one. So when Kurupt came in, I'll be honest with y'all, I didn't like him. Nobody liked him, you know. One of the reasons is he was super extreme. And at this time, that's when we were really sticking to the rules of being clean. Kurupt had like the widest front that it was almost like ridiculously wide. Like you could roll a beach ball under this dog if he was tall enough, you know. It was ridiculous, you know. And so with that being said, you know, that wasn't our style. Our style was very symmetrical, where the dog's body parts need to match each other and it all flows together. Outside of that, Kurupt had this very big, you know, circular eyes, which some of y'all wonder about the circular eyes, and I do a whole video on there. But that's a bulldog trait. The dogs were supposed to have almond eyes. And considering that at the time, the people who had him had a lot of American bulldogs with those same eyes, we sort of got the feeling that we knew what this dog was because he was so extreme. And the funniest part about Kurupt is that Kurupt didn't blow up when he first was introduced because of that. You know, Kurupt's blood actually took a bigger lift probably like 2 to 3 years later when people start talking about going extreme. And in reality, you know, I guess you could probably say that not Dax, but Kurupt was the extreme, you know, original. The original extreme king. I think Dax took it to the upper echelon where they just totally made a whole new class for Dax because, you know what I mean, they wanted him in there so bad. They didn't care about any of his flaws. He was just extreme. He was popular. They wanted him in there. The biggest difference would be is, for one, Kurupt was a bigger dog. For two, Kurupt was a lot better put together dog. Kurupt was very big and extreme, like very wide, very muscular in the rear, big rib cage, you know what I'm saying, good size head, everything. He just didn't fit the aesthetics of an American bully. He looked like a souped up American bulldog, you know. But the biggest difference between Kurupt, why people would use Kurupt, and I remember Cruz was one of the first people, Cruz from Bow Wow / Razor's Edge was one of the first ones when he made that litter with San Quentin, and I forget his brother's name. But, you know, they turned out to be very nice dogs by running it back to the edge blood, because if you look at Kurupt's blood, he had a lot of edge blood. But those dogs still look like American bullies. Kurupt was just so over-the-top extreme that people, you know, those of us who were purists to the breed, we were very afraid of him. Now, as time went on, if you look at the dogs that have Kurupt's blood in there, none of them really resemble him. They resemble very bully American bullies. Kurupt's dogs didn't sacrifice a lot of conformation at all. It wasn't like he was a horribly put together dog. He was just so over the top extreme for his time. That was that, you know. And this is one of the reasons why, for those of us who was there, we'll say that he was the original extreme dog and everything like that. But when you start talking about American bully history, now the term extreme sorts to gets a negative, you know what I'm saying, connotation put behind it. And that comes from Dax. That comes from Dax's conformation. That comes from the health issues that followed Dax. That came from what we seen roll out. That wasn't just the Dax blood. Let me make that clear. But it started an evolution of dogs that people didn't care about breathing issues. People didn't care about high rears or deformities. They didn't care about anything because you know, Dax kicked in the door to say that your dog doesn't have to have good conformation, and the TBKC went along with it and said, we'll make a whole class that your dog doesn't have to be healthy and doesn't have to have good conformation. Kurupt wasn't a part of that. Kurupt was just that dude that was like, you know what, I might not fit in, but I'm gonna fit in. And his puppies fit in. Kurupt's blood, you know, as a whole, man, the dog just put it down. He put it down in every way possible, and he turned out to be, you know, honestly, one of the best producers in the American bully world. I got to give it to him. Even though I didn't like the dog, to see his productions, to see the size he put on his dogs, to see the conformation of the dogs. If you just want to go dogs and we don't start talking about DNA and saying how, you know, how much bulldog was in him, the dogs were clean, they were thick. His genetics carried over everything that you would probably want to carry over if you were going to cheat with a bulldog. His stuff carried over to being some very, very nice quality American bullies, and his blood sort of mixed pretty well with everything that you put to it. So, you know, that would be like the biggest difference between the what I'll call the original extreme dog and Kurupt, and then you know, Dax was a different type of extreme, you know, and you know, they both he truly brought on the negative connotation of what extreme is, and really that era, and I'm not saying just Dax, but Dax kicked the door in, of course, but that era is a reason why the American bully is such an unhealthy breed right now, because it changed everything. And I always try to separate these two, and I'm glad that the brother asked the question, because in my opinion, Kurupt didn't contribute to the unhealthiness of the American bully as a breed. I think when you go to the Miyagi's, the Daxes, the freak shows, and those type of dogs, they set a new standard that threw health, conformation, and other things out the window. And I don't want to put Kurupt in that extreme box, but he was the original extreme king. You know, the other extreme king brought in something different. But hey, until next time, y'all, we're gonna be going live. We're gonna start doing these live videos, and you know, trying to make this thing work to the best of our ability to put out more and more information. We will be starting to redo paperwork this week, not this week now, but next week we'll be starting to kick out paperwork again, and we'll be taking the applications through the website and everything. So it's been a long road, but we're at it. Hopefully we can start announcing some shows now and really get to work. I'm looking forward to seeing all of y'all. I'm looking forward to seeing all the breeds out there. And like I say, we're not begging anybody to come through to the TBKC. If healthy dogs is your thing, if pushing healthy dogs is your thing, this is going to be where you need to be at. That's all we have to say. You know, healthy dogs, great conformation, fair competition. This is what we're pushing. You know, we're not going to argue with what other people are doing and what they're trying to validate, because it doesn't matter anyway. You know, our version of the American bully, our version of the Rottweiler, our version of the South African Boerboel, and when we say versions, it's still the same thing. We just follow the rules. Our dogs will be very healthy dogs that represent these breeds, not only for this current time, but for, you know, what we plan to be the next 50, 60, 70 years of just good dogs, you know, and pushing forward like major registries do, of having a plan to push these breeds forward, and a thing to where even our grandkids is saying, you know, this is how the dog is supposed to be. And it's very much in line with what we're doing right now. A healthy animal that can survive the test of time, and that's aesthetically eye-pleasing, but, you know, is a well put together animal that can compete with any dog in the world. That's our goal, not to keep on trying to build monstrosities that can see who's dumb enough to spend the most money on. That's not what we do. But until next time, y'all, much love. God bless. Peace.